Hi, welcome to ProgrammingHomeworkAssignment.com. I'm Neil Harding and I've been programming for over 35 years. Started off with BASIC, then moved on to assembly language, C, C++, Java, and then most recently Python. So I can help you with any of these programming languages. I'll go through some of them. Basic is no longer used, so I won't bother really covering that. Assembly language is used for low-level stuff. It's used also for like embedded systems and games, although even games nowadays often wrote in C. But you can still use assembly language as a glue code for consoles or for de-accessing hardware that doesn't have a driver. Assembly language is really difficult because there is no libraries basically for you to use, so you have to pretty much do everything. Even printing a number in decimal, it can take quite time. It's especially if you have to define the output of the screen, which maybe if it's a bitmap screen, you're talking about a couple of lines of code just to print a number. So as you can see, it's a lot more difficult than programming you're probably going to be using at university. But it's one advantage of assembly language is you're speaking at the machine's level, so you're going to be doing stuff that you can't do in any other programming language. You're not doing anything you don't need, so it gives you the most performance for possible. But it's as I said, it tends to be something less used in real use nowadays, but it's useful when you're disassembling, which is something I'll come on to when we're covering C. Okay, now C actually is sort of more like a higher level assembly language, and it's pretty much standard across all machines, which is one of the nice things with C. You've got the standard libraries, and then you have compiler extensions and system specific libraries. But there's a thing called POSIX, which defines a set of routines. So I can help you with C. One of the things I actually did before is I wrote a program to convert assembly language into C, which is the inverse of a compiler, and that was actually a pretty challenging project. That was on Sec3D. So I took in the assembly language, which was in 60,000, converted it into C, and then compiled for and I think it was an SHC processor, so it was an unusual processor, and it had to deal with all of these complications. So this project would actually be suitable for a master's or PhD level. It was pretty sophisticated, and that took quite a few months of 100-hour weeks. After doing quite a few programs in C, I moved on to Java and working on the mobile platforms, mobile phones mostly. Java is similar to C. It's not quite as powerful, so it's missing some of the advanced features of C, like operator overloading. Don't deal with memory directly in Java, so you don't have to allocate memory quite the same way. It deals with the types so that it stops you from making some of the mistakes that are allowed in C, but it also loses some of the flexibility. So it's about half the performance of a C, even with a good JIT, which is just-in-time compilation. then most recently I've actually been doing Python, and I actually really enjoyed Python. It's a dynamic language, which means that the attributes to a class can be changed at runtime. It's really good for web development because you can look it up to a database. It can inquire on the database and generate classes with the models for you based on what's actually in the database. So that's a lot more flexible than C or Java in that sense. It's one of the other advantages with Python is because it's an interpreted language. It's very quick to write. You don't have to set up a project and a compiler. You can just quickly bash out small bits of code in any text editor. It's really good for small utilities. It's also good for cross-platform. Like if you want to compare all the files, search through files. Stuff that's where you're spending a lot of time in actual just reading through files. So it's not stuff where you're repeating the same operation over and over. So if you were having a program that you wanted to use to read through images, for example, and do some filtering of them, then Python's performance would be noticeable there. But although there are libraries that can handle that type of stuff anyway, so it's actually a lot of the drawbacks of Python you can get around. And like I said, I actually think it's a really good programming language for beginners. I started off, like I said, basic, and there's a lot of similarities between Python and basic, but one of the really nice features about Python is it's got really good built-in support for sets, dictionaries, and which pretty much arrays, which pretty much every language does have. But the sets and dictionaries or hash maps, if you use Java's terminology, having it built into the language really makes some codes very quick to write. So you can write a word count program where it would count all the words, but also then find the most frequent words and give statistics on that in about 20 lines of Python, compared with a couple of hundred lines if you try to implement something like that in C. So it's a really quick language. So what we can do for you is we can write assignments in any of these programming languages, plus a whole variety of this. I tend to do assignments in those programming languages if needed, but we have other people who can handle Perl, PHP. I think we've got Occam, Haskell, Lisp. So there's a whole wide range of languages, and we have people who are able to handle any of them. Let us know if you find something I've not mentioned, because there's a chance we can handle it still. Like I said, one of the interesting things with programming is there's a lot of new languages coming out, like Go, for example, which I've not seen used much in academic settings yet. But same with Ruby, which Ruby is popular on the web, and Go is from Google. So and Swift is the Apple new programming language. So there's new programming languages coming out all the time, but a lot of times they're based on an existing language. So if you have any programming questions, we'll be able to let you know if we can help, and if we can't, we'll tell you. You don't. All our assignments are done 100% from scratch each time, so they're guaranteed plagiarism free. We've never had a problem with plagiarism. We can write reports as well. If you need to write a report on some aspects of computer technology, we've done MATLAB. Also OpenCV. Anything you can think of, we've probably done it. We can probably help you. Just let us know and we can give you a quote. Okay, thanks. I look forward to seeing you. Bye.